Hey everybody, this is Julie from Designs by JuJu, and I have finally gone around to doing a hooded towel tutorial video for you. And today I've just made this cute hooded towel for my grandson Charlie. I'm going to see him tomorrow. And this is a little lion from one of our pico sets. And what I love about the method that I prefer, this is the reason I wanted to do this, is it's a little different than some others out there, is that the inside of your hood is lined. So you don't use, some methods will cut a hand towel in half and we'll make two hoods. I use one whole hand towel to make a whole hood, and we'll show you how to do it and sew it and so forth so that it's all self-lined. That way, your applique, once you've sewn on your applique with your embroidery machine and have it lined, you don't have the back of it here to like scratch a little kid's head, and it's all closed up and professional. And then when I show you how to attach it, it's done neatly. See if, David, if you can scroll in a little bit, like in a French seam there, and everything looks nice and finished and professional here. So it just gives a nice finished look, and your little kids, grandkids, customers' kids, whoever you're making these for will love it. I'm going to show you the supplies that we're going to use, and then just whip up another hand towel applique and we will get going. It's really quick. It's really easy. If you can sew a straight line, you can do this. And even if you can't sew a straight line, you can do this. I know a lot of people get scared to make new projects and like get scared to try something, and don't, because I get scared all the time and I do it. So can you. So let's go. Okay, so to make the hooded towel, all you're going to need to do is choose a bath towel, and I'm kind of using a fancier one. I got it at Target because I'm doing another one for Charlie. Told you I'm going to see him tomorrow. So here's your bath towel, just a standard size, and then a hand towel. I love the Room Essentials ones from Target because they're inexpensive and they have these bright, really bright, like cherry colors. The only thing I really want to find is like a really bright red, but we'll get there. So you just need a hand towel and a bath towel, and you're going to need your thread, and pick out an embroidery design. And if you're looking for animal peekers or monster peekers, or I have like spring stuff and Easter stuff, on our website we have a whole hooded towel category. So let's see my desk here. Oh, you're going to need some pins. Okay, just to pin some things together. You'll need a marker or something to, and a ruler. So I'm sorry, this is a mess, but hashtag perfectly imperfect. So you'll just need a ruler for some things, a rotary cutter. Yeah, that's it. So let's get going. Okay, so we have hooped our towel. Make sure that you're hooping it so that the right side is up. Make sure that you don't make that mistake. Ask me how I know. So the tag's underneath. I had folded the towel in half before I hooped it and marked the centers just to make sure that I got it centered. And I have on the back, there's a piece of no-show mesh, and then I also put a piece of tearaway over it so that I had the edge of the towel showing here, so that when we line it up on the machine, you can kind of guide, move it down on your machine screen and guide so that the peeker will be kind of close to the edge here. So I'm going to take these pins out, and I want to put some water soluble stabilizer because it's always good to use that. This is a film. It's like Solvay here, and I buy it by the roll from allstitch.com. And it comes in these 8-inch perforated sheets. So I will just lay this down over the design, and I will carefully pin it on 3 sides because I don't want it down here, because I don't want the machine to go over a pin. But if I know that if I'm doing it on each side here, we're good. I'm going to use probably one of the 8x8 designs. You can use 5x7, 4x4, actually whatever you want. I like to kind of fill my hoop. This is a 9x9 Brother Allied hoop for my multi-needle, and that kind of I like that size, but that's just me. So let's see, I could even put a couple of pins down here on each side to really secure this down. Some people prefer to float their towels. You can do that. I don't like floating, and I don't personally recommend it, but that doesn't mean it's not right. I just don't like it. I kind of have my hooping technique down, and this is what works for me, so you do what works for you. So now I'm going to take this to the machine, and I'm going to be stitching out a cute duck. It'll be yellow and orange, and I think it'll look cute with this bath towel. Okay. Go. Okay, so we have everything is hooped, and I have just put this on my machine, and I'm using my multi-needle, but it doesn't matter. You can use your single needle. Is just as good. You might have your whole thing, depending on your machine, might be rotated because of the design, but so just make sure the orientation is correct with your towel and such if you're on a single needle machine. And now we're going to make sure you're going to have to work on the edit screen of your embroidery machine. Okay, so this is a baby lock machine. Your brother machine, baby lock, if that's what you're using, might look similar, but every machine should have an edit screen. And all I want to do, this is centered in your hoop, and so what I want to do is I'm going to move this down about a half an inch or so, and maybe to about 0.55. I think I did it earlier. And then for mine, you can usually, it has like a trace function. So my machine is going to kind of move and show me where everything's going to stitch. And if you see what this is going to do, just giving me an idea. And I'm watching it from the side, and I'm going to want to move the design down a little bit more. So let's keep going just a little bit more. Goodness gracious. Okay. All right, let's trace it again. I just want to get the design stitching out close to the bottom of the towel, but not too close to the edge. And I'm going to need to go a little more. So you're going to fuss with this until you get it just right. Go. Okay, so I have moved this down in my hoop just close to an inch, and that is perfect for me for where I have this hooped. Let's see, bring the camera. You can see a little bit of the stabilizer here. So that's how I've hooped this, and I moved the design down about an inch. And that way I know that the bottom is gonna stitch out just, about a half an inch or so above the edge of the towel. And you're gonna have to, depending on your machine, you're gonna have to decide what the right setting is for you, but that is the right setting for me. Okay, so our design is finished on the machine, and as you can see here, I forgot to move the design down closer to the edge of the towel after I went through that whole thing, but I'm going to use it and finish this hooded towel because Charlie won't know the difference, but yeah, you might want to just remember to move it down more. I think it would look cuter, but I still think it's going to be adorable. Okay, so I'm just going to unpin this and take everything out of the hoop and remove my stabilizers. Here we go. This Solvay that I'm using, the water soluble, is great because it just keeps the stitches from sinking into a pile of fabric. And let's pop this out. And I had used the mesh and the tearaway, so I am going to just get this tearaway off and carefully poke a little hole there. I always like to be extra careful just to get it going. Can't believe I forgot to move that down Actually, I can, because I've kind of been doing stuff like that all week since my granddaughter Lucy's been born. I've been like, I don't know why, since I'm not the one losing sleep. It's her mom, but okay. There we go. And I had used some spray adhesive to put my stabilizer on. So, hold on, I'm just going to grab some scissors. We're just going to carefully cut this away, leaving about a 1/2 inch all the way around. This is all going to be enclosed. If you had used just tearaway, that's fine, because this is all going to be hidden. We're making this lined, and the whole back of this design is going to be inside the lining, so it will not be shown. So now we are all ready, and we're going to go on to the next step. Okay, so now we are going to construct our hood. So you're going to want to, having to your left your applique face up, you're going to fold your towel in half with the applique on the inside, or right sides together. And we really want to line this up the best we can. So these edges down here, I want the corners and this to be lined up, and I want to smooth it out. So I'm just going to take a couple pins down here to kind of just hold that in place on each bottom edge. And I'll show you why in just a moment. Okay. And make sure that like any bubbles are out. So we want to have it as smooth as possible. And I'm just going to pin this here. And then if you measure, I've got a, I'm going to use a marker. I mean, you should use probably a fabric marker. I'm actually not using a fabric marker, but it's all hidden anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But if you measure your towel, it should be 16 inches wide, okay? So what you're going to want to do is come to the top and just kind of make a mark up here at the 8-inch mark. And then come down at the bottom and line it up and make a mark here at the 8-inch mark. It's not really, then you're just going to want to draw, mark those, line those up, and draw a line down the center. This is like a brush marker, and it's just gonna help you guide your sewing, because we're going to be sewing down this center line. Okay, and this is what's going to make our self-lined hood. Just want to double check, make sure that that's at the 8 inches, and it is. Gosh, that line is not easy to see. See if but I am going to put some pins there. It's because, oh, there we go. Actually, this works better. It's not that easy to see because it's such a dark towel, but that's all right. So you can see that much better for this video, at least. Can you zoom in a little bit? Just, can you see that okay, Jake?
Yep.
Okay, my son Jake is doing this for me. So I am going to just pin here, kind of on each side, so that the fabric does not shift when I'm stitching down the center. And let's see, there we go. You don't need a bunch, maybe like 5. So we're going to go to the machine, and we're going to do a little back stitch here, and I'm just going to stitch down a straight line and back stitch at the end, and let's head to the machine. Okay, so I'm just going to start here, and I want to do a couple of back stitches, and you're just going to stitch down the straight line. And just remove your pins as you go. I didn't iron my towel and all that. You might want to, but for the purposes of this video, I just want to get this done to give to Charlie tomorrow. And then when you get to these little bumps here, just go slow. It's going to be fine. You might want to adjust the presser foot setting. To back stitch a little. There you go. So now you can take these pins out here. And now you have stitched that together. Hold on, I'm going to pin myself. There you go, you stitch that down. Okay, so now we're going to turn the towel inside out, the hood. So all you're going to do is kind of flip this through. Okay, and then you're going to pull this part here and just kind of poke it out. And I wish that that had been moved down, but it didn't. So, and then you can fuss with it, which we're going to do in a minute, to get it all just so. But we pulled it through, and as you can see, it's, can you see this, Jake? It's lined on the inside, the way we pulled it through. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go back to, this has got some puckers here, because I wasn't that careful. Sorry. I'm going to go back and we're going to get this all lined up together and pinned neatly and stitch this together to make it have a nice finish. Okay, so we're going to want to pin the edges neatly together and then stitch this all closed. So I'm going to start on one side here and I'm going to line them up, and I'm just going to line up the edge and just do this like every few inches all the way around, and you'll see that it all lines up. So let me do this here, because we want to close this up and have it look all nice and professional and secure. And my son actually thinks this is adorable. It takes a lot to impress him, so I'm pretty happy about that. Almost done. Okay. All right, so you can see this is pretty much to the edge. We're going to be doing some trimming after I have done the sewing, and I'll explain that to you when we come back. Let's go to the machine and stitch this together. Okay, so I've got this on the machine and I want to make sure that I've got my edges lined up. And Jake, can you see my fingernail is? I want to try to stitch as close to this ribbed edging here as possible. So you don't have to worry about this thicker bottom part, because we're going to be trimming that off. So I've put my machine, I put it underneath there, and I'm going to lower the presser foot and do a couple back stitches, and we're just going to get going. You see I'm keeping it close to those edges, and you want to kind of just make sure that nothing gets caught underneath. I've got my edges right up against each other. So we're just keeping that close to the edges. Almost there. Just take it slow. It's not really difficult at all. And I am no seamstress, so if I can do it, anybody can. All right, my dear. Here we go. All right, I'm going to back stitch. There we go. And I'm going to just remove it from the machine. And now we have stitched those edges all nice together, and you have a lined hood. And now we're going to go back and we're going to be trimming off some of this length, and I'll explain why. Okay, so you might have noticed in some other hooded towels that you've seen that there's this hood, and then it kind of hangs this length here and then attaches to the bath towel. I personally don't care for that look, but this length here is dependent, I guess, on the size of the child that's going to be wearing the towel. So the sample I made, I had cut off about 3 inches because it's going to be for Charlie. Now, I put one of those with the shorter length here on my 6'4" husband with a big head, and I mean, it worked. So if it fit his head, a 6'4" man, 300 pounds, then it's going to fit any kid up to 10 years old, so, and I don't know, I mean, 12, 13, even a teenager. So, but your preference here, how much you cut off. I cut off here with a rotary cutter about 3 inches or so. And just be careful, and got to use a lot of pressure here on the edges there. And there is your hood. Okay, so you have a natural center here because it's stitched together, okay? So now we're going to attach the hood to the bath towel. Okay, so now we have the bath towel. We're going to attach the hood to it. The first thing we want to do is just fold the towel in half and find your center. So I'm going to take a pin and just mark my center here. Now, when you lay the towel down to attach the hood, you want to make sure that the tags are going to be away from you in one of the corners face down. So here's my tags underneath here, okay? And I'm going to lay my towel down on the floor, and the right side of the towel is up, and the tags are underneath in that left corner over there. We're going to be making like a French seam here. So what I want to do, you have the edge, this edge here of your towel, this rough edge. You want to line the center up with the center of your towel about a 1/2 inch or so in, okay? Then we're going to pin the edge of the towel all the way to your bath towel. And I need to get my pins. Okay. Just going to pin it down. You've laid down, so remember, this is the towel, it's right side up. You've got your hood upside down with the point of the hood facing away from you. You just want to pin your hood down to the towel. We're going to get this all enclosed, and you're going to love it because it's all going to be nice and finished. Just make sure everything's pinned and secure and flat. Now, when we stitch, Jake, make sure you get in a little closer. We're going to stitch about like a 1/2 inch seam allowance straight down here to the towel. So let's go to the machine. Go. Okay, so actually, instead of a 1/2 inch, I want you to do about, just use the edge of the presser foot, maybe about a little bit more than 1/4 inch. This doesn't have to be exact, okay? But I'll show you what we're going to do. Back stitch a couple stitches. And we're just going to stitch this down to your towel. What sound you hear is my pedal. I'm putting the pedal to the metal. So Okay. What I've done is I've worked on my whoa. I don't know why that was the pressure foot. Is a little bit less pressure, and that way the towel glides under it easier. Depending on how much of a seam allowance you've left here, you may or may not trim. So I'm going to do a couple back stitches. Okay, and now we're done. Okay, so we've stitched the hood to the towel and we have all this excess here. So what we're going to do is when you flip the towel up, you can encase those raw edges. You see this here? We've got your raw edges and you've got your excess towel, and we're just going to flip it up. And I'm just going to take this straight underneath. Sewing, actually got to put it to my sewing setting. All right. Let's flip this up, and what we want to do is we want to make sure to kind of pull it all nice and neat. We want to kind of hold it taut, and I'm going to sew slowly. I'm going to take a couple of back stitches here. Okay, I want to sew as close to that white edge as I can, holding this up, and we've got the raw edges here are being hidden. And just do a little bit at a time. And this is just making a really nice professional finish. Almost done. I don't like sewing with my embroidery arm on. I don't know why I did, but some people love it. I don't. But I was too lazy to take it off. Okay, back stitch a couple. And we are done. So our hooded towel is finished. You've got the self-lined hood here, so you don't have the back of the applique scratching the child's head. You've got the edges are sewn nicely together here. And then you've got this all attached nicely. The raw edges are all enclosed. You've got your French seam here on the back. And this is all just attached, and it's just a very nice professional look. I'm not a seamstress, so I'm sure it's not perfect. If you're a seamstress, then you're probably not even watching this video. So, but for those of you that needed a video and wanted to know how to make it, that's how you do it. It's really simple. You can see, I'll do a different video on folding it, but you can see that the tags are on the inside, so you can cut those off or whatever, and the child can wrap the towel around them, and it's just really cute. And I loved this towel, the striped towel from Target. But I think Charlie will love his ducky hooded towel. I hope that you found this video helpful. Shoot me an email, support@designsbyjuju.com, if you have any questions, and I will put a link in the description to our hooded towel design section on our website. Have a great weekend.